Hi, in today's video, I start a series, Win in 2020. We'll be looking at the importance of being in control of our minds and how that will set the tone and the nature of the year that is awaiting us. So if you're interested in finding out the importance of keeping your mind in check to win in 2020, please stay tuned. Hi, my name is Palesa. Welcome to yet another video on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. So for today's video, I have no intention of being long. I know my last few videos have been a bit lengthy. I apologize for that. So I'm gonna go straight into it. So over the next few weeks on this channel, what I want to do is to create a short series of the things that I believe you and I need to conquer and be in control of in 2020. You see, we have a new year coming. It is filled with unlimited possibilities. It's so exciting. But in order to win next year, there are several things that I believe that you and I need to be in control of in order to have a successful year, a year full of progress, a year that we can sustain passion and that we can live with purpose. Now, each of these four things just happened to start with an M, and today's topic, the thing that I believe that we need to be in control of, the thing that I believe that we need to grab our hold of is our minds. So in today's video, I would like to look at our minds. You see, it is by our minds that we are able to think of ideas, think of strategies. And if you lose your mind, then you lose everything. And that is why it is important that you and I that we make up our minds, that we decide that regardless of what's going to happen in 2020, that we will not lose our minds. Rather, we will have it in control. We will use it as a tool because it is the greatest resource that you and I have. But it can either work for or against us, and that is why it is important for us to know how our minds work, to be intentional about the thoughts that we think, so that we can use our minds as a resource. Like I said, our minds can work to and can work for, or against us. And with that being said, it is very important that you know that just as your mind can get you out of a situation, your mind can easily get you in a pit that you cannot get out of because of the kind of thoughts that you are thinking of yourself, thinking of your situation, as opposed to seeing yourself as a conqueror, seeing yourself as greater than whatever is coming against you. You see yourself as being under the circumstance, as being, you're constantly overwhelmed. You find yourself as a slave to your thoughts. Now, in order for you to win in 2020, it is important that you make up your mind now, before you encounter whatever's waiting for you, before you meet that person, before you are hit with that situation, that you make up your mind that you will not be a slave to your thoughts. Now, what this means is twofold. It means that you will not allow your thoughts to drag you into your past, neither will you allow your thoughts to pull you into the future. Because if you're dragged into the past, then you are held by things that have already happened, things that you cannot change, things that, sometimes this is why many people end up being held by depression and sadness and unhappiness, because you keep thinking about things that have happened that were not according to what you had planned, and you end up being a slave to your thoughts. Or on the other hand, what can happen is that you are pulled by your future with things that you do not know, things that you have no idea what the outlook is going to be. You are pulled by the possibilities and the thoughts. And many times, the funny thing is, many times these thoughts are not necessarily positive. And that is why people, when they think of a situation that is going to happen, many times we think of the worst scenario. And then your present moment, your present reality is filled with anxiety, is filled with stress. Why? Because you have allowed your thoughts to drag you to a place that you are not in control of, to drag you with a narrative that is filled with fear. And that is why, like I said, it is important that you and I get a hold of our mind, that we intentionally build our mind. I have a father who is an avid believer in reading, and he believes that, people need to read the newspapers. I don't know if people read them anymore. But he's an avid believer that you need to be up to date. You need to fill your mind with, resources that can give you the tools to the solutions of the problems that you are currently faced with, because every problem has a solution and it is hidden in a book. And that is why it is important, again, like I say, that you and I are intentional about developing our minds, how we think, because that determines how we see things, whether we anticipate the good or the bad. It is all about the mind. And that is why I am encouraging you to make up your mind, that you will invest in your mind next year, because like I said, by your mind it can either build you or break you, but you have the ability all in your hand. Now, as I am coming to the end of what I wanted to say, I just want to leave you with a question, or rather I want to ask you a question today. Now the question is, would you say that your thoughts are greater than your feelings, or are your feelings greater than your thoughts? The reason I ask this is that many times we are not led by our minds, by intentional thinking and intentional living, present moment thinking and living, but we are moved and guided by the narrative of our past experiences, past heartache, the patterns that we have seen either in our lives or the lives of others, and they invoke a certain kind of feeling. And then we wake up after thinking, those thoughts, and we start feeling these things, and then we wonder why it seems like day after day after day after day we seem to be experiencing life with a certain mood. Why? Because we have allowed our thoughts to hijack our day, to hijack the experience of a moment, to hijack your perception of your situation. And that is not how it is supposed to be. I explained it this way to a group of young ladies that I know, that I don't know if you've ever seen the picture of an elephant with a rider on it. And the way that I explained it, which was explained to me in a different format, is that we should see our minds as the rider and our emotions as the elephant. Now, when we look at the strength of each of the two, you would obviously see that the elephant is stronger than the rider. But the rider has the ability to guide and move the elephant, to use the power of the elephant for the purpose and the desire of the rider. Now, it's exactly the same thing when it comes to our minds and our emotions. You see, we are not supposed to be a slave of our thoughts, neither are we supposed to be a slave of our emotions. But if we allow our emotions to hijack, to run with us, it will be more difficult to grab a hold of those emotions, to rein them in. But the reason that we got to that place in the first place is because we were unable to control our thoughts. We were unable to control our mind, our thinking. And that is why it is important that you and I make sure that our thoughts are in control, that our thoughts are positive, that we fill our thoughts with thoughts that build us, regardless of what is going on around us. Because remember, it is our mind, by our mind, that we find solutions. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what you may be experiencing. It doesn't matter what can come to you next year. As long as you have a mind of an overcomer, a mind that nothing will hold me down, nothing will defeat me. I will find a way out of this. It doesn't matter how painful, how unexpected, how sudden a thing can be. It doesn't matter how deeply it affects my life. I will win. I have made up my mind to win in 2020.